Hamilton's ambition wasn't quiet. It didn't whisper, it shouted, it crashed through the door with ink-stained fingers and a fire in its chest. From the very beginning, Alexander Hamilton lived like he had something to prove because he did. Born out of wedlock, orphaned, poor, a stranger to comfort, a stranger to safety. He came to New York not just chasing opportunity, but running from obscurity. He didn't just want to be someone, he needed to matter, and for him, that meant writing. He wrote like he was being chased by something invisible, and maybe he was. Grief, fear, time, he wrote more than anyone around him. Wrote through wars, through personal scandals, through political battles. He wrote 51 out of 85 Federalist Papers. That's not just impressive. It's obsessive, because underneath all that brilliance was panic, a need to leave a mark before life could erase him. And isn't that something we can all feel? We push ourselves to keep moving, to keep achieving, to keep proving we belong. We call it ambition, but sometimes it's just fear in disguise. Hamilton didn't slow down, he couldn't. He was always running out of time. He built systems, shaped the economy, crafted arguments that still echo through law and government. And yet, in the rush to be remembered, he often forgot to be present. He missed moments with his wife, pushed away friends, chose work over family, again and again. That's the thing about unchecked ambition. It doesn't ask what it's costing you. It just tells you to go faster. How often do we do the same? How often do we confuse productivity with purpose? How often do we tie our worth to output instead of connection? It's easy to glorify the grind, to think if I just do more, if I just keep going. But at what point does motion become escape? Hamilton's life ended in a duel, gunned down at 47, not because he lacked brilliance, but because he didn't know when to stop pushing. He provoked, he challenged, he couldn't slow down, and maybe he knew he wouldn't live long. Maybe that's why he burned so hot, so fast. But here's the truth. Legacy is a long game. But peace lives in the moments we choose to stay still. Hamilton gave everything to history, but lost too much in the now. So ask yourself, what are you running from when you chase success? And what might you be losing while you're busy trying to win? That's the first cost Hamilton shows us. You can leave your name in the books, but if you lose yourself in the process, was it really worth it? Power is seductive. It promises control, influence, and security. It whispers if you're just inside the right room, everything will make sense. In Hamilton, that room is where the real decisions are made, where deals are struck behind closed doors, where history gets written not by the loudest voices but by the ones seated at the table. And everyone wants in. Aaron Burr sings it like a prayer, the ache to matter, to be included, to have a say. But what Hamilton shows us is that being in the room doesn't always give you what you hoped it would. Because power can fill your schedule, but still leave you empty. You can get the position, the title, the seat at the table, and still feel like an outsider in your own life. Hamilton made it into every room. He helped build the country from the inside, drafted policy, shaped the Constitution. He had access, but not peace, not presence, not quiet joy. Because once you're in the room, there's always another one you haven't reached yet. Another door, another fight, another seat to prove you deserve. It never ends. That's what ambition does. It moves the finish line. You spend your whole life chasing a rival, but when you get there, you realize you left pieces of yourself along the way. So many of us are chasing our own version of that room. It could be a promotion, a relationship, a dream project, a following, a title that says you made it. But once you're inside, you might find yourself looking around and thinking, wait, why don't I feel what I thought I would feel? Because external success doesn't always translate to internal peace. Sometimes the room just magnifies your loneliness. It shows you what you thought you wanted, and what it actually cost. That's the trap Hamilton fell into. And it's the one Aaron Burr spent the whole story chasing, only to discover it wasn't what he needed at all. He got in, but lost himself on the way. So maybe the second lesson is this: getting into the room isn't the same as being at home in your life. Power without purpose, status without self-worth, influence without intimacy, It's a hollow kind of victory. And that's what Hamilton exposes. The hunger to be included can blind you to what really matters. Sometimes the room isn't where your life begins, it's where it starts slipping away. There's a moment in Hamilton that doesn't involve a war, or a political battle, or a duel. It's quieter, but it cuts the deepest. Eliza Hamilton stands in front of her husband, the man who changed the shape of a nation, and asks for something he can't give her. Peace of mind, not fame, not power, not legacy, just peace. And he can't give it because he's too caught up in being remembered to remember the life they're living right now. That's what pride does. It blinds you to what's right in front of you while you chase what's far away. Hamilton loved his wife, there's no doubt. But love doesn't survive on words alone. It needs time, presence, humility, and he couldn't stop chasing the next battle long enough to really see her. Even worse, his pride didn't just hurt their marriage emotionally, it wrecked it publicly. Because pride convinces you that you're above consequence, that no one will notice, that you're too smart to fall. But Hamilton did fall. He had an affair. And when he was threatened with exposure, he didn't protect his family. He protected his reputation. He published the Reynolds pamphlet, a tell-all confession, written not for forgiveness, but for control. He exposed himself and Eliza along with him. He burned her trust to save his name. That's the moment she walks away. Not just emotionally, but symbolically. She burns the letters, the history, the proof that she ever stood beside him. Because pride doesn't just isolate you, it takes people down with you. And maybe that's the hardest truth in all of this. You can be brilliant, you can be passionate, you can love someone deeply. But if your pride comes first, they'll never feel it. They'll feel abandoned, dismissed, like a footnote in your story, when they should have been the headline. Hamilton built empires with words, but he destroyed his own home with them too. And it begs the question, what's the point of legacy if it leaves your loved ones behind? Pride can build your name, it can make people cheer, it can even put you in the history books. But if it drives away the people who love you most, what kind of victory is that? The lesson here isn't just about marriage, it's about priorities, about slowing down enough to see who's standing beside you, and whether they feel seen in return. Because at the end of the day, if your ambition writes a great story, but your pride edits out the people you love, was it worth the page? Legacy is a beautiful idea. It sounds noble, like something bigger than ourselves, something we build for the future. But Hamilton shows us the shadow side of legacy, the part no one likes to talk about, because sometimes chasing legacy means abandoning the present and the people in it. Hamilton wanted to be remembered. Every speech, every letter, every argument. He wasn't just writing for now, he was writing for history, and in the process he missed the life that was happening right in front of him, his children, his wife, his own joy. He was always somewhere else, 5 steps ahead, 3 moves into the future, planning his place in the story. But the people who loved him, they weren't chasing immortality, they just wanted him. That's why Eliza burned the letters. It wasn't just anger, it was a declaration. You were writing for history, then history doesn't get me. She erased herself from his record, because she had been erased in real time. That's what happens when we choose image over intimacy. We start treating life like a stage, instead of something sacred. We become so focused on how we'll be remembered, we forget to actually show up. And honestly, we do this too. We chase goals. We grind for success. We fill our calendars. We check every box. And sometimes we do it all while ignoring the friend who texted, the partner who looks a little distant, the moment that asked us to pause and be there. We say, I'll slow down later. But later doesn't always wait for us. Hamilton didn't slow down, not when Eliza asked for more of him, not when his children needed him, not even when the world started closing in. He kept pushing, kept reaching, kept choosing tomorrow over today, and in the end he lost what mattered most. That's the fourth truth. Hamilton exposes legacy can't hold you, it can't laugh with you, it can't love you back. Only people can do that, only now can do that. You don't have to stop dreaming, you don't have to shrink your goals, but don't trade your presence for a plaque. Don't miss your life chasing a statue with your name on it, because all the history in the world won't matter if the people you love don't remember feeling loved by you. Hamilton always knew death was coming. He talked about it, wrote about it, obsessed over it. In some ways, he treated it like a rival, something to outwit, outwork, outlast. But the truth is, he didn't escape it. He ran straight into it. The duel with Aaron Burr wasn't sudden. It was the final step in a pattern. Years of provocation, years of pride, years of building a name too big to back down. And even in that final moment when he stood on the edge of his own ending, Hamilton made it theatrical. He aimed his gun at the sky. Some say it was mercy. Some say it was strategy. Some say he finally saw the cost of all his choices. But it was too late. A single shot ended him and shattered the myth of invincibility he'd built. Because for all the words, all the letters, all the policies, Hamilton was still human, still fragile, still mortal. He wasn't remembered for how he died. He was remembered for how he lived. But that's the catch, isn't it? He spent his life crafting a story he never got to finish. And maybe that's the final lesson. When we wrap our identity in ambition, when we live like a legacy is more important than love, we risk becoming a cautionary tale instead of a whole human story. The duel didn't just end a life, it exposed everything that had been crumbling underneath. The loneliness, the broken relationships, the silence between him and Eliza, the son he'd already lost to the same kind of pride. It wasn't just a gunshot, it was an echo. A consequence that rippled backward through every choice he'd made. And Burr, he got what he thought he wanted. He survived. He became the damn fool who shot him. And yet he spent the rest of his life haunted by that moment. Because ambition doesn't just burn the person holding it, it scorches everyone nearby. So here's the final truth Hamilton gives us: legacy can inspire, but it can also destroy. Chasing greatness at all costs might get your name in the books, but it can leave your soul behind. You don't have to duel your way through life. You don't have to win every battle. Sometimes choosing peace is the greatest power move there is. Because when the dust settles, when the pages close, the question won't be did you make history? It'll be did you make a life worth living?